You know the old advice for fat loss, right? Just burn more calories than you eat. It sounds so simple, but if it's that easy, why is it such a massive struggle for so many of us? Well, it turns out there's this powerful master switch we've been completely overlooking, one that can seriously supercharge the calories outside of the equation. And based on the incredible work of neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman, we're about to find out what that switch is, your very own nervous system.
I mean, this is the question that drives people absolutely nuts. You're doing everything you're supposed to. You're tracking your food, you're hitting the gym, and the scale just won't budge. What gives? It's because that old formula is missing a giant piece of the puzzle. It's kind of like trying to drive a car by only staring at the gas pedal and totally ignoring the incredibly complex engine that's actually running the whole show.
So here's the big idea for today. Think of your metabolism like a huge, complex orchestra. And who's the conductor, calling all the shots? Your nervous system. It sends these super precise signals directly to your fat cells, telling them exactly when to release their energy and when to burn it up. So, if we can learn to speak the conductor's language, we can completely change the music our metabolism plays.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to pinpoint the real controller of fat loss. Then we'll uncover a hidden furnace in your body that you can fire up without ever setting foot in a gym. After that, we'll get into why you might be using cold plunges all wrong, how to structure your workouts for maximum fat burning, and finally, we'll put together your brand new fat loss toolkit.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the real controller. Now look, we can't cheat physics. Calories in versus calories out is still the law of the land. But here's what almost everyone misses. The calories out part isn't some fixed number. Your nervous system has the power to crank that number way, way up, basically transforming your body into a much more efficient fat-burning machine.
To really get this, you have to know that burning fat is always a two-step dance. Step 1 is mobilization. This is when your body lets go of fat from your storage cells and puts it into your bloodstream. But that's only half the battle. Step 2 is oxidation. That fat that's now floating around actually has to be burned for fuel. And here's the crucial part. If step 2 doesn't happen, all that fat you just mobilized, it just gets stored all over again. You have to do both. They're non-negotiable.
So what is it that kicks off both of these critical steps? Well, it all comes down to one key chemical messenger, epinephrine. You probably know it better as adrenaline. Think of epinephrine as the spark plug for your fat-burning engine. It's the one signal that tells your body to both release its stored energy and then actually burn it.
And here's a super fascinating detail. Scientists used to think fat burning was all about this huge, system-wide flood of adrenaline, like when you're in a panic. But what Dr. Huberman really emphasizes is that the most powerful signal is actually local. Your neurons literally connect right to your fat tissue and release epinephrine right there, on site. It's like a targeted strike. This is a total game changer because it means we can use specific behaviors to trigger this process exactly where and when we want to.
And that brings us to our very first tool for turning on that local release. And you're going to love this. It's a way to burn a ton of fat that has absolutely nothing to do with going to the gym. It's time to unlock your body's hidden furnace.
So this idea actually comes from some really cool research back in the 60s and 70s. These scientists, Rothwell and Stock, were studying people who seemed to be able to just eat and eat without gaining any weight. And they found this one weird thing they all had in common. They were all fidgeters. They were constantly moving in small, subtle ways. And this phenomenon got a name, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or just NEAT. So, just how powerful is this NEAT thing? Well, the numbers are pretty mind-blowing. These tiny little movements, pacing on a phone call, tapping your foot, shifting around in your chair, they can add up to an extra 800 to 2,500 calories burned every single day. Let's put that in perspective. For most people, that's way more than a grueling one-hour workout. Every little fidget sends that local signal of epinephrine, keeping that fat-burning process humming along all day. So how can you actually use this? It's almost deceptively simple. You just start fidgeting on purpose. Pace around when you're on the phone, tap your foot under your desk, make a point to stand up and sit down more often. This isn't going to replace your gym sessions, but it is the perfect way to add fuel to the fire, keeping that metabolic furnace burning all day long.
All right, our next tool is cold exposure. It's super popular right now, but here's the thing. When it comes to fat loss, most people are doing it completely wrong. We're always told to, grit our teeth and fight the shiver. But the science shows that if you want to burn fat, you should be doing the exact opposite.
So let's be super clear about the goal here. Resisting the shiver, that's awesome for building mental toughness and resilience. No doubt about it.
But if your specific goal is fat loss, the shiver itself is the whole point. It's the physiological trigger we're trying to pull. When you fight it, you're actually shutting down the most powerful fat-burning effect of the cold.
So why is shivering so important? Well, a 2021 study in the journal Nature uncovered this amazing mechanism. When your muscles shiver, they release a molecule called succinate. This succinate then travels to a special type of fat called brown fat, which you can think of as this metabolically active, heat-generating tissue. The succinate basically flips a switch on this brown fat, turning it into a furnace that just torches calories to warm you up. No shiver, no succinate, no furnace. Simple as that.
Okay, so here's the actual protocol. Let's walk through it. Step 1. Get into a cold shower or a plunge, and stay in until you feel a real, genuine shiver start to kick in. Step 2. Get out, but don't towel off. Just stand there for about 1 to 3 minutes. The air hitting your wet skin will help trigger an even stronger shiver. Step 3. Get back into the cold. You'll probably find you shiver much faster this time. You just repeat this cycle 2 or 3 times, a few days a week, and that's the key to maximizing that succinate release and firing up your brown fat. All right, finally, let's talk about the gym. We all know that exercise burns calories, of course, but it turns out that how you structure your workout can make a huge difference. This isn't about training harder, it's about training smarter, by understanding what fuel your body is using and when.
What you're looking at here is a really important trade-off. When you do high-intensity stuff, like lifting weights or sprinting, you're mostly burning sugar or glycogen for fuel during the actual workout. But the real magic happens after. Your metabolism stays revved up, and you shift into burning primarily fat for hours to come. Now, steady cardio, like a jog, is kind of the opposite. You burn a higher percentage of fat during the run, but that afterburn effect is much, much smaller.
So, how do we use this to build the perfect fat loss workout? Here's the playbook. Step 1. If you can, train fasted. This is important because it keeps your insulin levels low, and insulin is a hormone that literally blocks your body from burning fat. Step 2. Start your workout with 20 to 40 minutes of high-intensity training. This is to burn through all your body's stored sugar. Then, step 3, immediately after that, do 20 to 30 minutes of steady, moderate-intensity cardio. See what we did there? Because you've already used up most of your available sugar, your body has no choice but to tap directly into your body fat for fuel.
All right, let's bring it all home. We've gone through a lot of science, but it all boils down to a really clear, actionable toolkit. This is your new nervous system-based plan for putting fat loss into overdrive.
It really comes down to these 3 key strategies. First, embrace NEAT. Become a fidgeter, keep moving, even in small ways all day long. Second, use cold the right way. You've got to chase the shiver, not fight it. And third, structure your training. High intensity first to burn up the sugar, then follow it with steady cardio to burn fat.
Now, Dr. Huberman also mentions a few optional compounds that can help support these behaviors, but listen, they are supporters, not substitutes. Caffeine can help give you a boost in that initial epinephrine release. Yerba mate can help with fat oxidation through something called GLP-1, and acetyl L-carnitine can help ferry fatty acids into your cells to actually get burned. Just think of them as little optimizers for the main tools. And this all leads us to this single most important idea to walk away with. For way too long, we thought about our metabolism as something that just happens to us, something we're stuck with. But this science shows that's just not true. Through specific, deliberate actions, you can consciously influence the very neural signals that command your body to burn fat. You are not a passive passenger here. You are the conductor.
You now have the instruction manual. You can literally learn to speak the language of your own nervous system. You have the tools to take direct control. So, the only question left is, which tool are you going to use first? The choice and the power is all yours.